Hello, how are you doing? My name is Victor Dadash. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today I want to talk about one of my favorite books on success, which is The Success Principles by Jack Canfield. Now, some of you may know Jack Canfield as the co-author of the very successful Chicken Soup for the Soul book series, which has sold, I believe, 500 million copies worldwide. He's made a lot of money. He's made many millions of dollars, and he's actually the number one all-time best-selling nonfiction author. So what Jack has done in the Success Principles is he shared all the things he's learned over the decades and put them in this book. There's 67 principles, and if you apply the principles, you will get a lot out of it. You will become successful, you will get great results, and you will make more money. But you need to apply them. And he says in the book, the principles always work if you work the principles. And I can tell you, when I went to his Breakthrough to Success event, one of the things we did was break up into groups and do various exercises. And these exercises applied the success principles. And when we did these exercises, the success principles really came alive for us. And we really got a lot out of it because we were applying the success principles. I could tell you from my own personal experience, if you apply the principles, you will get a lot of results. And don't wait on it. Don't procrastinate. Jack gives an example of one guy who waited 30 years to take action on something he recommended. And the thing Jack recommended was putting something on your ceiling, something you want to achieve. Like this, he talked about making $100,000. This guy waited 30 years to do that. And 30 years later, he put this check for $100,000 and he would look at it every single morning. And within a few months, he was getting a lot more business. Now, the thing is, if he had done it 30 years later, can you imagine how much more money he would have made? So take action on this book when you read it. Don't procrastinate, because when you do take action on it, great things can happen. So I'll go over some of the principles in it. Obviously, there's 67 principles, and I can't go over all of them in this video. So let me go over a few of them. The first principle he talks about is take 100% responsibility for yourself. Successful people always take 100% responsibility. They don't blame other people, other circumstances, the economy for their problems. They take 100% responsibility. And when you take 100% responsibility, better things will happen for you. So he gives this example of how two people are stuck in traffic and they're being interviewed by these reporters. So one person is very angry, he's yelling, he's cursing, he's in a really bad mood, and he's just saying this sucks, life sucks, etc. Then they go interview this woman, and she's in a good mood. She's saying, yeah, there's traffic, but you know what? I have my coffee, I have stuff to drink, I have my tapes to listen to, I left a little bit early, and my boss knows these things can happen, so I'm in a good mood, I'm happy. Now here's the thing. They were both in the same traffic jam, but they had two different responses. And this illustrates something he calls E plus R equals 0. Events plus response equals outcome. So how you respond to the event will determine your outcome. So it's not just the event that happens to you, it's how you respond to it. So if you respond in a positive way, you're going to have a much more positive response. If you respond in a negative way, you're probably going to have a much more negative response. So it's not just the event, it's your response to the event. Another thing he talks about is believe it's possible. You need to believe that you can achieve what you want to do, the outcome you want. When you believe it, you're much more likely to get it. And then the next principle he talks about is believe in yourself. So you need to believe that you can do it. If you believe you're capable of it, you're much more likely to achieve it. If you don't believe in yourself, it's going to be much harder for you to achieve it. Another principle he talks about is success leaves clues. Now, a lot of people try to figure out everything on their own, and it's much more difficult to do it that way. What you need to do is realize that everything's been done before. Model what other successful people have done, and don't try to reinvent the wheel. Look at what they have done and try to do some of the same things they've done. Add your own personal touch to it and tweak some things, but don't try to figure it out on your own. See what other successful people have done and model what they have done. You do that, it's going to be much easier for you to succeed. Another principle he talks about is take action. Again, if you just wait for the perfect time, the perfect opportunity to happen, you might be waiting forever, because there's always going to be something wrong happening. He says just get started. You get started, you can make changes along the way, you can make some tweaks. When you take action, good things happen. If you don't take action, you just wait, nothing's going to happen. He gives this example of 20 finished books is a lot more valuable than 50 unfinished books, because those finished books can change someone's life. And the thing is, if you want to write a book, for example, just get started. Most books are rewritten anyway. You don't just write it once and it's perfect. You have to make some changes, some edits, and a lot of things you have in the book are rewritten. But if you don't get started, that book will never come out. So you need to make changes. Another thing he talks about is to act as if. The thing is, if you try to start acting as if you are successful and you keep doing it, after a while your subconscious mind will start believing in it. One thing Jack does is something called a come as you will be in 5 years party. And what he does at that party is he has people act how they want to be in 5 years. So you might be a successful business person, you might have your own company, you might be a successful author, actor, singer, whatever, and you act that way for a whole hour. And a lot of people come away from these parties totally energized, and they start acting more and more as the type of person they want to be 5 years from now. When you start acting like the person you want to be, and you do it on a consistent basis, you're much more likely to become that person. So act as if is a very powerful principle. Another one he talks about is hire a personal coach. All successful people get themselves a coach or a mentor. Successful athletes do this all the time. The best athletes in the world all have a trainer that coaches them, that guides them as to what to do so they can become the best. So if you want to become better, become the best, get yourself a coach. Get yourself a mentor. And another one he talks about is getting yourself a mastermind group. Mastermind groups are very powerful. You get 4 to 6 people in a group. There's a lot of synergy in there, and everyone learns from one another. You can get a lot of great advice from the people in your mastermind group, who can share some tips, and you can just become a lot more successful. Successful people use mastermind groups all the time. So there's many more principles in here, but I think you get a gist of some of the great things you can learn just by reading this book. So I highly recommend get the success principles. Read the principles, apply them, take action on them. If you do, you're going to get a lot of value. You're going to see a lot of great results, and you'll become a lot more successful. So I hope you got a lot of value from this video. Feel free to share with other people. Subscribe to my channel below. This is Victor Dadash signing off. Have a wonderful day.